What's going on, Legionnaires, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you're new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, and make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content that we have coming out. Alright guys, so for this video, we're going to be talking about Justice League and Justice League Dark coming out of issue number 59. Now this is new Justice League in the new Infinite Frontier era. And so we're going to really see what these guys have to offer coming to the table. Now, this is written by Bendis, this is pencils by Xermanico, and colored by Bonvillain. And the Justice League Dark is written by Ram V, which honestly, I have to say, I'm super excited about Ram V. He's been doing a lot of the lines lately. He's covering the new Swamp Thing, which is absolutely phenomenal in my opinion. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what these writers have and what they have in store for us. And with that being said, let's break it down. Alright, so our opening panels show us a conversation between Arrow and Canary. And Green Arrow is telling us how people, they really see the symbol. They see the icons, but they don't truly see the people that are underneath that. And he understands how this happened, like it's a perspective thing. They're seeming like gods, they're superheroes at the end of the day. But that's why he feels like sometimes the Justice League doesn't always work. And that's a big reason that Ollie has really been excited and happy that Clark Kent has come forward and finally said, like, listen, I'm Superman. Because in Oliver's opinion, people like him more. But more than that, people feel relaxed around him. They can relate to him. They feel some kind of closeness with him. And they can understand him from a much better perspective. And really, it all comes down to him believing that society, that people, they need to see that there is more to them than just a symbol. Now, going over to the next panel, we pick up in Kondak, and we see a boy sitting in front of a tombstone, only to be met with the one and only Black Adam. And they have some words here. You know, this boy's mother had just recently died, a year prior. And Black Adam is here visiting somebody that he loves, somebody that he cares about, somebody that spent a great deal of time with him. But in the middle of this conversation, they're met by something that neither of them expected. And they turn around to see some kind of giant demon. And this demon really talks a lot like Lobo. And his response arriving here on Earth is like, did that look weird? Because that felt super weird. And this is where Black Adam tells the kid to leave this place. And the demon asks for Black Adam's name, and he gives it. And then the demon proceeds to tell us that we wouldn't believe what he went through to get here. Now, looking down at Black Adam, he looks at him and he's just like, what are you? Like, are you some kind of protector? You're wearing one of those shirts, like you must be some kind of protector of this planet. You know, and Black Adam is not one for small talk. So he's sitting here and just ready to end this, and he's telling him, what do you want? What are you doing here? And the demon tells him, I'm pretty sure you're not gonna like the answer. And this is when we see these two start to battle it out. And in the first punch, we are seeing a light blast that fills up the entire sky. And this battle is underway. Now, we all know how powerful Black Adam really is. So seeing this happen right here, it only goes to show how truly strong that this individual is. Now, as these two are trading punches back and forth, we see the arrival of none other than the Justice League. And turning his attention away from Black Adam, this guy jumps at Superman, saying that his name is Brutus. And he's pretty much letting him know, like, all of this, everything you have here, it's all mine now. And Superman blocking his punch and just tossing him, saying, well, at least Black Adam was on the right side this time. And then Superman turns to Black Adam and asks if there was any real exchange of conversation, and Black Adam lets him know, like, no, not really, he just showed up and hit me. Now we see Brutus standing over the ocean, saying that this place is perfect. But he kind of changes his tune real quick as he sees a giant wave coming over him, and we see a wall of sharks. And we know who this is. This is none other than our Aquaman. And he comes in, dragging Brutus underwater, but Aquaman learns real quick and recognizes that he made a mistake. And this is when we see another energy blast, and Brutus go flying towards the surface as Aquaman goes sinking to the bottom. Now, Brutus breaking the surface, he's met by Hawkgirl, and she takes her mace and blasts him in the face with it. And then he gets dragged back underwater by Aquaman. But then something goes wrong. Something's going on with Hawkgirl's weapon, and she calls out to Batman. Now, whatever's going on with the nth metal in her mace, it seems to be reacting to this guy. And even Brutus doesn't really understand what's going on, because he makes a comment on what's going on with it, like, what's it made of? And this is when Brutus realizes, like, hold on. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna take a break. Like, I was clearly ill-prepared for this fight. I see that now, but don't worry. I'm gonna be back. I'm just gonna go regroup real quick. And doing so, he opens up a portal, Batman telling Superman that he needs to try to stop him. But Superman's not able to get through the portal, it's not letting him through. And this is when our Justice League regroups and really starts to have a sit rep on what exactly just happened. And of course, Batman starts his environmental scans. This is, according to Batman, a creature that they've never seen before. Now, Black Adam, obviously seeing that the day is done, he's going back home to take care of his people like he usually does, and telling them, like, you guys need to get off my land, like usual. And Aquaman even makes a comment. He's just like, I understand kicking me off, but who kicks Superman out? Like, of all people, come on now. It's like literally the nicest guy to ever live. And so Batman decides and tells everyone, let's get back to the Hall of Justice. Let's unpack all the information that we just got and try to figure out exactly what is going on. And that's exactly what they do. They head off to the Hall of Justice, and they're all trying to decipher exactly what happened with the mace, who this Brutus guy is, and so on and so forth. And as they're arriving, we're seeing the finishing up of Green Arrow and Black Canary's conversation. Really, he's just saying that, he wants people to see that there is more than them. And this is when Canary turns to Batman and everybody else and is like, please, save me from Oliver's latest rant on why we as a group are wasting our time and not doing nearly enough to help the people. Now, this is where Oliver, kind of elaborates a little bit more. He just thinks that they should be doing more. And he thinks that they could be helping more than they already do. And even Superman agrees with him and asks Oliver, like, what do you think we should be doing? And so Green Arrow offers up an example. They have all known each other for such a long time, and sometimes when that happens, people start to see things through a similar prism. Even the Justice League. And so his opinion here is that they should get some more voices inside the Justice League. Some disruption, some dissent, just a little bit of change. And he goes on to say that he's worried that they're not delivering all the promises that they make. Justice for all. And Clark lets us know, this is something that he thinks about literally all the time. And this is when Oliver, very quirky and very smirky, he's just like, by the way, as a rule, when Superman agrees with me, I don't really care what anybody else has to say. And I definitely have to agree with that sentiment. Like, if Superman says it and agrees with me, I'm probably in the right in this situation. Now, as this conversation comes to a close, Kellex lets us know. Now, Kellex is the Kryptonian AI that can construct running Superman's Fortress of Solitude. Now, he lets us know that the interdimensional visitor has a unique energy signal, matching only one other in all of the United Planet's vast interstellar databases. Now, this particular individual was cataloged as unidentified, but it is an exact match to this individual. And that individual is none other than Naomi McDuffie. And this is when we cut over to Oregon, and we see Naomi with some of her friends, and she's kind of showing off her superpower abilities, but then she's met with the arrival of Black Adam, and the Black Adam is asking for a word. Now, there's not a whole lot known about Naomi. She's a relatively new character to the DC landscape. We do know that she was born on Earth in an alternate universe, and her universe was very similar to the Prime universe, but with a few distinguishing details, if you will. After years of polluting and environmental issues, the Earth's ozone layer did collapse. And in the wake of that, undiscovered radiation leaked onto the Earth. But this radiation didn't really hurt anybody. 29 random people across the planet were given godlike powers. And so naturally, some of the 29 sought to rule, and so on and so forth. And so you saw a giant battle ensue. Her parents sent her to Earth. And there's a little bit more that goes into this story, and maybe we'll cover that at a later time. But now we're going to jump into Justice League Dark. And it picks us up at the Augustus Priory ruins in Wales. And we have an individual sitting in front of a door trying to open it up using some kind of magic. He walks through this door. Going inside, he walks through a different, more familiar place. Its ruined halls returning somewhat to their former glory by his magic. It's been so long since he's been here that he forgot that he even has guards, but with a flick of his wrists, these things disappear. Laughing at how his magic was once so easy and quaint. And he continues down these staircases, leading him to a room with a lake. In this lake, we see a stone. And in that stone, we see a sword. Because this is the sword in the stone. And this sword is currently known as Caliburnus. But it has gone by many names. And we can only assume that one of those names is none other than Excalibur. And we see a woman named Seer holding and protecting the sword, meant to be the 13th knight of Arthur's Round Table, charged with her eternal watch when all she wanted was to go with the others in a time of war. And as she hears the echoes of feet coming down the stairs, she can scarcely believe it, because it is none other than Merlin himself. Now, this is where we pick up with Zatanna, and we pick up with John Constantine. And they're driving down the road, and, you know, he's kind of dragging her along this real complicated kind of story. Dealing with a 7th century priest. He recorded a series of prophecies claiming that they were told by Xerif. He wrote of an archangel who shall at the end of the moon cycle in the cradle bestow the gift of heaven to aid in a coming war. Now, he was dismissed for this, and the book was forgotten, except for a small cult of individuals. Separately, in 1994, a vocalist of a band sang an unplanned 8-minute kind of song in ancient Sumerian. And though later he would deny any knowledge of her Sumerian interlude, translations say an Earl of Hell shall unto us bring a weapon to strike down false gods. And it was all dismissed as a public stunt, but hardcore fans still believe that she was channeling a fallen one. And ordinarily, he wouldn't believe such things of this, but the time and place of the prophecies in this time and in this place, and a coincidence set 13 years apart, so it made him very curious. And you know, Zatanna's all fine and dandy with, you know, going along with this, doing all this, but she could have magicked them here, but John really wanted to kind of let her get away, see the stars a little bit, enjoy a little bit of peace and quiet in the country, only for them to come over the hill, and they see a couple of buildings on fire, and individuals brutally beating and killing each other. And having no idea what's going on, he tells Zatanna to try to stop time, to freeze everybody, but she's not able to, and she says she'll explain later. And John, pulling a trick out of his sleeve, grabs a watch, puts his blood on it, and stomps on it, freezing time momentarily. And Zatanna asking, like, what the hell happened here? John has no idea. But what John Con doesn't know is that both prophecies were indeed true. The angel arrived in the predestined bolt of lightning, bringing with him the gift of heaven, followed by the demon Bifrons, who rose from a bottomless sinkhole carrying the weapon of hell. As the angel and demon went both about their task, both sets of cultists arrived at the scene, hoping to see their long-held beliefs affirmed. The children of the gift looked upon the angel and saw him in his true form. His light blinded them and infused their souls with heavenly fervor. The Solophites saw at last their long prophesied demon, and his true visage drove them entirely insane. And true to form, heaven and hell left the humans to their own devices and walked away. There in blood and fury, the broken and pained, stood the gifted of weapon, the creation of both hell and heaven, yet with all the bearing of a familiar face. And this is when John and Zatanna see none other than Jason Blood. And he lets us know that he comes bearing a task of his own and a message for all, that they stand at the precipice, for the edge of reality is at stake. And then we pick up with Merlin. Back with the 13th night, he embraces her, but only to betray her and sink a knife into her gut, leaving her dead, floating in the water, making his way over to Excalibur, or Calburnus, as they're calling it in this story. He lets the sword know that there is no longer any need for it, and the sword melts away into a ruby. And Merlin lets us know that he knows now the destiny of this mortal realm, and he trusts it to mortal hands no longer. He will do at last what he could not all those years ago. He will drag this world towards its destiny, kicking and screaming if he must. And that will be where this issue ends. So let me know what you guys think. Justice League jumping into the Infinite Frontier, as well as some Justice League Dark by Ram V. All in all, I have to say these stories were really awesome. I'm really excited to see who Brutus is, exactly how this is all gonna play into Naomi's story. You know, we can only assume that he is one of the 29, but who really knows? I thought the artwork was really amazing stuff. And I'm really excited to see what's going on with Jason Blood and John Constantine. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you have not already, please do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and until the next breakdown.